Hi everybody, it's Susan. Happy Sunday. I wanted to bring to you another project that I made. Um, have you ever turned back the hands of time? Have you ever thought about the past, about, I don't know what the years are in your ages, and I'm sure it's like major from like the early teens until whenever. And I don't know, a lot of times I love to turn back the hands of time and remember at some point when I was often taking the New York Transit subways to the following stops called Times Square Station, which is in Manhattan, right where I worked. And I remember taking the train to Kings Highway in Brooklyn, not too far from where I used to live when I was much younger. And the very last stop, which was called Coney Island, where I'm sure almost all of you, or a majority of you, have heard of that stop. And that is the very last stop on the New York Transit trains. And I used to, that would be a stop where would get me to where I was growing up when I was much younger. And it's so funny that purchasing this paper from the Tim Holtz Line, the Lost and Found, they have this really big page here. And they also have this page that's broken down into 4 groups. This one, some old-fashioned photos, a film strip, and another paper. I can't recall that one. I don't have it in front of me at the second. And out of those 4 pieces, I decided that I wanted to use them to apply it towards altering another item. And what I did was I cut that paper up and I got quite a lot of use out of it, and I wanted to create something that could bring me back, that can turn back the hands of time for me, where I can keep things in there that will remind me when I used to take the train to the very last stop in Coney Island, to remind me where my parents grew up in that area, to remind me when we used to all go to the beach out there and have the greatest time when we were kids, going on the rides. I don't know if anybody's from New York, in the New York area, even out in New Jersey, if you've ever visited out here, if you've been to Coney Island. And with that said, I'd like to bring to you a project in which I wanted to use the Wild Orchid Crafts flowers to make this appear to be something that you would go up in your attic and find, which would be something that someone may have bought or made 50 some odd years ago, and you're finding it in a trunk in an attic. And you're going to keep photos of your mom and dad or grandparents or even of yourself while growing up. And I'd like to bring you this project. I'm sorry for talking, but I wanted to explain to you how I came out to make this. And this is what I came up with. This to me, I was able to get in the Times Square around the top of this box, Coney Island in the front, okay, and on the other side I was able to get Kings Highway in there. The bottom portion of this box is great. It's all these photos, these old photos of people, and I love the way it came out. This was done using the Mod Podge. And I used all of the products from Wild Orchid Crafts, and actually these flowers were recreated last night. And what I had done here was, if you can see, the way I've been making these flowers look really vintage and dried out and old, that flower has like pink, red, and browns in it because I painted them all with Glimmer Mist. And that flower is this flower. Okay? Big difference. So there you can see in size, because once it was really wet with water, I was able to scrunch it. and hold it by wrapping it up in toweling paper when I was done painting it and leaving it like that overnight. So that's the big flower. And over here, these really pretty little flowers here, that is that flower there, which was also painted a chocolate cherry. Very pretty color. And there are those beautiful brown roses, and I just love them. And on the edges of the brown roses, there is the gold perfect pearl mist called Heirloom Gold. Okay. If you could see right here in the front, there is way at the bottom here, there is a red rose that I dipped in a red, I forgot what it was called, I could tell you in a second. Where is that? I think it was called Burnt Red. I dipped that right into the bottle of the Glimmer Mist, coiled most of the stems there. I'm just going around slowly. There's some scattered pearls called crystals in the jewelry section in Michael's. I just love that color. It's kind of like a taupe chocolatey, very high shimmer to the flower. There's again this flower here, but it's this one, and that one is only perfect pearl mist sprayed on that. And over here you have here's this flower. It's actually right here, those twisted large flowers. I'm so sorry I don't know the names of these, but I had painted that one with pink, red, and browns to shade them all with some stickles and the stamens in the center. Around here you have the calla lilies and more pearls. You've got that flower painted red way deep in there. It's painted like a reddish gold shimmer. And here you have another one of those roses, so absolutely beautiful that I just painted the edges because they were very light with some dark brown colored glimmer mist. And then here is another one of those twisted flowers. It's so gorgeous. That one was really sprayed with a lot of different colors, and the edges were painted. And again, another beautiful rose, and the calla lilies and the roses are just my favorite. I adore those flowers. And then from the Tim Holtz collection, I used a ticket, and that ticket says Dream, because there's nothing like dreaming and turning back the hands of time and just reminiscing. Sometimes it could really make you feel so good. And back here is a really pretty charm. I left the little thing hanging, and I just used some hot glue and glued that down. And I just love the way this came out. And I wanted to change the color of the latch in the front. I tried the gold rub and buff, but since this is gold, it really didn't work out well. And on the inside here, I painted the inside of this box with a color called Nutmeg by Making Memories. I mixed that with a little bit of gold just to get just a hint of shimmer in there. I was trying to give it a look of wood to keep that old look in there, and that's what I had accomplished. At the bottom of the box, I used vintage photo and a sponge just to give it kind of a rubbed out, again, antique old look, and that was my goal here. There's some rub and buff on the corners there. I had it on my finger. I wiped it off there, so I left it there. And there I tore some of the paper, but the reason why I had done that was to make it look like it's really been sitting around for a very long time. Around the edges of the box and the outside corners of all of the paper all around, I used a lot of the vintage photo just to give it that old world feel, which I just love the way it looks. And if any of you are New Yorkers and know these train stops, you must have gotten really excited when you saw this beautiful paper from Tim Holtz. I just love it. I mean, there's so many, I'm not promoting anything, but all of you I'm sure have seen this paper by now. There's just some other projects that I have in mind that I'd like to recreate using these papers for memories. They're just so beautiful, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing this box. And just to quickly share with you so that you can get an idea, because most of the boxes that I have made in the past have been quite small, and this one is a little bit more substantial in its size. The width of it is almost to the 4-inch, okay, and the height of the box is 2.5 inches. So it really is a nice box in size. And I have to say, using this paper with a decoupage style, it works really nicely. The minute the glue hits it, it starts to like melt right into the paper, which makes the paper become flimsy and easy to bend and work with and adhere to your project. And this was wood. Oh, I forgot to show you. Right below here, I hope you can see that my shadow is there a little bit, is some very pretty, I'm looking to see if I have it on hand over here. Yes, I do. Is this very, very pretty crocheted lace. And that also is from Wild Orchid Crafts. And I was looking for a piece of solid cardstock, just so that, well, no, that's a bad piece of paper. I'll just hold it up against the back of this. There it is. It actually feels like a cotton. It doesn't feel like the lace material like a nylon. It feels like a heavy cotton. And you can see here, hopefully you can see it clear enough. There it is. But I just cut a piece and I kind of bent it, glued it down, bent it and glued it down, kind of trying to make it look a little gathered. See that? It's not fully glued down. And what I had used is I just decided that I did not want to leave it white, that I wanted to make the crocheted lace look vintage and distressed. So I sprayed that with, what's this called? I sprayed it with Glimmer Mist Latte, and I used some vintage photo on the front and back of it. And then when I had gotten to the edges, can you see that? I hope I'm not too close. When I got to the edges, I was like, oh boy, this is going to fray and all. So what I did was I took a lighter and I just kind of singed the edges of this ever so slightly, and it did go on fire. What I should have done is I should have done that first and then put the Glimmer Mist and the ink on, because for those of you that don't know, the Glimmer Mist is really flammable, so just be careful. And it was a good thing that I had done it in the kitchen. I blew it out right away, so I was still able to keep it, and it really made a very nice granny type of looking, like an old-fashioned type of look. So really very pretty. And the reason why I had used the calla lilies, again, that may spoil the old look, but I wanted to brighten up so that you can see, because I've used so much of the same color scheme throughout, when you have them all bunched together like this, it kind of may look like it's too much from far away. And so I thought that if I stuck a couple of flowers in, it would break up the coloring so that you can tell what was done to the rose. I mean, you can see that the rose is absolutely stunning. Okay, you can also see the other twisted flowers that have been painted as well. I used a very thin brush, and after a while I was spraying, so it was very pretty. And the back, if you notice, is not very complicated. I just tried to bring more attention to the front. So I was thinking that I was really thinking heavily what's going in this box. So I was going to put like a Metro card in here that I took from the train that I still have. It has money on it too, but after 1 year I think it's not good anymore. And I have an old token that we used to use years ago to get on the subways with. I'm going to put in there. And I have some old pictures of my parents and probably grandparents and when I was a little girl growing up in here. My husband has some also when he was a little boy, when he used to go to the beach with his family. So I think this is going to work out well as a very old memory box. So thanks everybody for stopping by and seeing my videos. I really appreciate all of you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your comments and all of the kind things you say, and all of the emails. Thank you so, so much. I get so many personal messages and emails from all of you. It's just a pleasure to read them all, and I'm always happy to get one nice comment after the next. I am almost at 1,500 subscribers, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a giveaway coming up soon, so please stay tuned, and if you're not subscribed, please do so. Have a great Sunday. Bye, everybody.